In the small town of Alcaloo, South Carolina, in the spring of 1944, life was quiet and ordinary until a tragedy shattered the peace. Two young white girls, Betty June Binnicker, age 11, and Mary Emma Thames, aged 8, went missing after riding their bicycles near the railroad tracks. Hours later, they were found brutally murdered in a ditch, their skulls crushed. The community was horrified, and fear and anger spread like wildfire. George Stinney Jr, a 14-year-old black boy, became the target of that fury. He was a small, skinny child, barely 5 feet tall and weighing less than 95 pounds. When the girls had gone missing earlier that day, George and his sister had reportedly seen them ride past their home. That was enough for suspicion to take root in a racially divided South Carolina. Within hours, the police came for George. They took him away without his parents. His mother and father were forced to flee their home for safety as a white mob gathered. George was questioned alone, without a lawyer, without any family, without food, and without rest. According to police, he confessed to the murders, but there was no written confession, no record of his words, no evidence that his confession was real. What followed was one of the most tragic miscarriages of justice in American history. In less than 3 months, George was put on trial. His defense attorney was a local tax lawyer with no experience in criminal defense, appointed by the court and given almost no time to prepare. The all-white jury deliberated for just 10 minutes before declaring the 14-year-old guilty. 10 minutes, less time than it takes to eat a meal. No appeal was filed. No second look was taken. On June 16, 1944, George Stinney Jr. was led into the execution chamber at the South Carolina State Penitentiary. He was so small that he had to sit on a Bible to reach the height of the electric chair. Witnesses said the straps were too big for his tiny frame. They slid off his wrists. His last words were reportedly, "I'm innocent." When the switch was pulled, the force of the current was so strong that his mask fell off, revealing his tear-streaked face to those watching. He was dead in minutes. Decades passed before anyone tried to uncover the truth. In 2014, 70 years after George's execution, a South Carolina judge finally re-examined the case. The court found that George had not received a fair trial, that his confession was likely coerced, and that his constitutional rights had been violated. His conviction was officially vacated. George Stinney Jr. was declared innocent, but his life could never be restored. The story of George Stinney is more than a piece of history. It is a wound that reminds us of the dangers of racial hatred, injustice, and the failure to see a child as human. He was the youngest person executed in the United States in the 20th century. At just 14 years old, he became a symbol of how deeply injustice can cut when power, prejudice, and fear overshadow truth. George Stinney Jr.'s story continues to echo across generations, a reminder that justice is not always given, and that silence, once allowed to rule, can destroy even the innocent. Don't forget to like, subscribe for more updates on stories like this.